Hey, what's going on, team? It's Ricky with Learn Plan Profit. I hope that you guys are all having a great, don't want to say start to your Sunday, but a great overall Sunday. Let me go ahead and start sharing my screen so you can see exactly what it is that I'm looking at. So we have series of stocks that we're going to be breaking down today. If you guys would like me to break your top stock down, all I literally ask you to do is to share it in the live chat, and I would be more than happy to share with you my 2 cents on what I think about it, what I would wait for, or if it's a stock that I would consider trading as of right now. One of the stocks that I quickly want to talk about, again, just jumping right into it, is Groupon. So Groupon reported earnings and then ended up selling off. Groupon went from highs of about $20 a share and then pulled back down to $12.50. So a pretty significant sell-off happened in just a few hours of trading. Groupon does have a history of consistently selling off, so to understand that the cheap can always get cheaper. It doesn't have to recover. But again, a lot of you guys like when I talk about stocks that have a very dramatic move, and Groupon was just one of those stocks, at least for this week. The other thing that I also want to talk about is what's on schedule for this week. For those that are unaware, we have the FOMC meeting this Wednesday, and I do plan to live stream it. So again, just a little update. The FOMC meeting is when the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, they will announce a rate hike or a rate pause or a rate cut. This is where they decide what they're going to be doing. It's the rate decision. And then 30 minutes after, Jerome Powell, who's the head of the Federal Reserve, goes live and then shares and answers some questions. So a lot of you guys like when I go live because the market tends to react pretty aggressively depending on if it was as expected and or if it missed expectation. So you don't have to overcomplicate it. I'll talk a little bit more about the FOMC meeting and expectations leading up to Wednesday. So it's on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And then on Thursday, we have Michael Barr, who's the vice chair. He's going to be speaking at 12 p.m. Eastern time. And then we also have a few other live streams on Friday. So it looks like we have a pretty busy week. The biggest thing that's on my schedule is the FOMC meeting this Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern time. You don't want to miss it. Again, just another reason to subscribe to the channel. It's free, and I'll make sure that I keep you up to date so you don't have to worry about it. So let's go ahead and break down whatever stock it is that you guys see value in. So SMCI, that will be a very quick one. But SMCI, again, in my opinion, a very, very overvalued stock, and it looks like it's been pulling on back down to the moving average. It is at a potential support zone, so just be careful. Just because it's overbought doesn't mean that it has to pull back right now. It has been incredibly bullish with higher highs and higher lows, and it tends to find its support on the moving average. So again, just something to take into consideration. So other than that, SMCI, again, when you look at overall big pictures or the big picture time frame, so on the 4-hour time frame, you could see the different perspective. I think it's overvalued. I think when NVIDIA begins to pull on back, this thing's going to just absolutely crash back to the $500-$600 range. So I'm really excited to follow up. I just wouldn't consider shorting it as of right now because we don't have confirmation of an active sell-off. So something that we can follow up with. Asking about SQQQ, again, I'm glad that you're bringing this up because if the NASDAQ market begins to sell off leading up to the FOMC meeting, then yeah, I would say SQQQ could potentially make sense. We are at a very critical resistance, just like NASDAQ is at a very critical support. If you guys haven't been paying attention, NASDAQ market pulled on back just a little bit. Pullbacks happen all the time, right? We're testing the moving average as a support. This is the 200 moving average, which is a very commonly used indicator by a lot of institutions. So if we do break below the moving average, then we could potentially expect, again, a little bit more selling pressure. But I want to remind you, again, a lot of the movement that's probably going to happen this week is expectation of what's to come on Wednesday. And then once it's already announced on Wednesday for that rate decision from the Federal Reserve, then that will determine if markets go up or if markets begin to sell off and maybe we see a little bit more retracement. So let's not get too excited, especially when looking at SQQQ. Again, great things happen to those that wait. It pays to be patient in this market, and I just would hate for anyone to buy right now and then it just ends up selling off, right? It doesn't have to break above the moving average. Market's been incredibly bullish. So again, just do yourself a favor and don't jump the gun. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Let's pull back enough so we could watch Ricky play SQs and TQs again. Sounds good, Robert. Yeah, Rivian. Yeah, so Rivian was a pretty popular stock last week, right? And it's because of how significant the pullback was after it reported earnings. So Rivian has just been on a very consistent descending pattern with these lower highs and lower lows. It's up to you and how it is that you choose to trade. Again, keeping it very simple. And if I was a complete beginner, the thing that I would really tell myself is that direction is not in my favor with Rivian. I do agree. It's pretty cheap, but the cheap can always get cheaper. And with everything that's going on with Fisker, the struggling EV company, and how we saw that it's, in the brinks of filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, it would suck to try to buy Rivian here. But again, Rivian can go from $11 down to $5. Imagine losing 50%, right? So let's keep it simple. Direction's not in our favor. It's not like it's indicating signs of an uptrend. It does try to rally from time to time, but its true direction is more bearish. And again, when and if you are so certain that this thing is going to recover, then let's wait for that confirmation, because when it does, then again, at least direction is in your favor. So something that we can follow up with later down the road. So, all right. So what made you take a long break on QQQ in general? Great question. It's not necessarily that. I still trade it from time to time, but we talk about this often within my live trading session with the LPP team. I saw that the market was incredibly bullish and it was at all-time highs, NASDAQ, right? So, but I didn't see much movement. I just saw a lot of consolidation up here. So I didn't want to buy or day trade SQQ or TQQQ because market is so bullish, but it's not progressing very much. So it's a very slow movement up here, but it's so overbought that, again, I don't want to buy and hold TQQQ, because obviously if it pulls on back, the downside risk can be quite significant. But I also do not want to short NASDAQ because it's so incredibly bullish. So when things are this overbought, but when things are this bullish, I kind of just respect it. I let it do its thing until direction becomes more clear. So until we get a pullback where it makes it more attractive to potentially short, or makes it more attractive to potentially buy TQs because there's recovery potential, then at that point, I can make that decision. But as of right now, when market's overbought but also so incredibly bullish, it's just not something that I would like to get into myself. So, all right. So why do you think that Rivian stock doesn't perform well, even though it keeps beating earnings? EV companies are just struggling as of right now. Tesla is a great example of it. They even have Elon, and I think just on the performance for 2024, Tesla stock is down 35%, something like that. So it's just, there's seasons, there's cycles of these markets for these EV companies when there's a lot of hype, kind of like right now. There's a lot of hype going on in crypto. Everything is incredibly bullish. It's been incredibly bullish. It's all good news, good news, good news. This is the cycle that we're in right now. It's a very bullish cycle. But then just like anything, right, all of last year or 2 years ago, crypto was incredibly bearish, right? There's these cycles that the market goes through where like this market sentiment is either bullish or bearish. Right now, it's incredibly bearish, unfortunately, for EV. So I'm just choosing to respect it that way. So, Rookie, would you say this week is not a week to trade since FOMC? That's a step that a lot of people do take. So I'm actually really glad that you brought that up. There's a lot of people that will hold back from trading or over trading during FOMC rate decisions, because it is a very significant, economic event, right? They're going to decide, are we going to cut interest rates or are we going to continue to pause? And then the market will react. So a lot of people like to wait for all that activity and that volatility to kind of like ease and then be able to come back when conditions are more favorable and more clear. What's going on, Jasmine? So I'm really glad that you brought that up. And I think that if you have any uncertainty about that, if you want to test holding back and being patient, I think that's an amazing way to approach it. So thank you, Ricky, for all the great info and the market sentiment. You are why I love to trade, earning and learning every day. I'm really happy to hear that. Thank you. All right, let's go ahead and break down SMFL. Okay, so again, this thing is really good at just consistently selling off. Lower lows, lower highs. It's extremely bearish. This is not something that I would trade myself. If it's something that you see value in, then, great, all power to you. For me, not at all, not 1 second. I also do want to bring up, remember, Marvel recently pulled on back. It's been quite bullish with these higher lows and higher highs. We're still not seeing indication of a reversal. I just wanted to bring it to your attention just in case it does begin to trade above the moving average and the EMA and indicate signs of that reversal. Again, this is Marvel, right? So it would be nice to follow up with this if it actually does begin to indicate signs of a reversal, right? We talk about in LPP where there's the 3 stages of a reversal. There's the rejection, consolidation, and then we wait for that proper confirmation, okay? Can you take a look at AMD? Of course. So let's go ahead and do one more stock that I'll break down, and we'll leave it at that. I just wanted to keep today's video pretty short and sweet, just because, again, we're all just waiting for the same thing, and that's for the FOMC rate decision on Wednesday. So AMD, extremely bullish, just like NVIDIA, right? Higher highs, higher lows, recently pulled on back. I can see why you're paying attention to it, because if it does bounce off the moving average and then break above EMA, it could continue to run up again. So I would say that that's all I would be looking for, confirmation of this reversal, that it recovers above EMA and then it begins to indicate signs of an uptrend. So yeah, I would just set my alert. If I get that proper confirmation that price action is and direction is in my favor, then it makes complete sense on why you would potentially want to enter this trade. So thank you. So can you set the price when you sell a stock, or do you have to sell it at whatever the moment is, and what dictates what it's worth? Yep. So again, these are questions that we already cover in the course, right? Which is the second link in the description down below. It's setting up a price target or a goal that you're working towards on, let's say for AMD. I plan to buy a small position here. I'll add more when it breaks above EMA, and then I can set a limit order to sell at $214 based off previous patterns. It's reached 214, so it's not unrealistic. And if it begins to recover with this overall bullish trend of higher highs and higher lows, it's very possible if this thing begins to indicate signs of an uptrend. So what I can do is I can set a limit order to sell at 214, or I wait for it to get to this price point, and then I can sell with a market order, and it will sell at whatever the market price is. Limit order allows you to control the exact entry or exit. Market is just at whatever the current market value is between the bid and the ask. So I appreciate you asking, but again, all these beginner or basic concepts are broken down in detail in the LPP lesson library, and that's the second link in the description down below if you want 50% off, and you also get to watch me trade live every day. So Carvana short, I'm glad that you brought that up. I know Carvana was a stock that a lot of people were paying attention to because it quickly gapped up, but I want to remind you we have no confirmation of an active sell-off. It's showing a lot of signs of consolidation and establishing its support here. So again, when I choose to short something to make it easier for myself, I want to make sure direction is in my favor. Again, shorting means you make money as this thing sells off. So that's why I would set my alert, wait for that proper confirmation of lower lows and lower highs, and then at that point, I can consider opening up short to see if it corrects itself back to $52. So I think the short idea makes sense. I just would need confirmation of an active sell-off, which we don't have yet. So I think that's why I set my alert here for the break below, 74, 73. And then once I do have that confirmation, then yeah, I would love to entertain the idea of potentially shorting with this. So I would add this to my watch list. I just wouldn't consider, I would say taking short right now would be too early. But you guys let me know what you think in the live chat. So also, another thing that I'm paying attention to is Bitcoin. Bitcoin, I pay attention to it based off of its performance, if it's up or down, because of how it influences like Coinbase stock, right? So if I see, I love shorting Coinbase, and if I see that Bitcoin is selling off, then that tends to act as some selling pressure and negative catalyst for Coinbase. There's a slight correlation behind that. So this is something that I've been paying a lot of attention to over the weekend. At one point, we got to lows of $65,000 per coin, and we closed at around $70,000 to $69,000. So it's going to be exciting to follow up and to see by the time the market opens tomorrow, where's Bitcoin going to be? Are we going to be trading at 70,000, or are we going to be trading closer to 65,000? So that's what I'm excited to do for tomorrow's live trading session. And I hope to see some of you guys there, especially if you're an absolute beginner and you've never tuned on in. If you sign up by today, you can get started with the lesson library, and you can watch me trade live as soon as tomorrow. So I wanted to wish you guys a happy St. Patrick's Day. Again, we're doing 50% off LPP, and it's a one-time payment, lifetime access, and you'll get to watch me trade live every single day. Again, you don't have to sign up, but if you want the ability to watch me trade live, if you want access to this A to Z video lesson library, then again, I would love the opportunity to work with you on a closer and daily basis. And again, second link in the description down below. Also, our St. Patrick's Day sale for 500 bonus entries for the Corvette giveaway is going on, and it ends tonight. If you want to earn an additional 500 bonus entries, use promo code LUCKY at checkout, and you'll earn an additional 500 entries for your chance to win our Corvette giveaway that's coming to an end. It's a 2021 Corvette C8. It's concrete white on the outside, and then it has that beautiful red interior. So again, our last winner for our car giveaway, he purchased a $25 flag and walked away with the keys to the new car. So just imagine that. All it takes is one lucky entry, and now we're giving you the chance to earn 500 bonus entries just by using promo code LUCKY. So I appreciate your time. Hope that earned a thumbs up. That's at fourth link in the description down below, or shoptechbuds.com. If you have any questions, either comment down below or feel free to DM me, and everything is linked in the description. So I'll see you live for that FOMC meeting, and just be prepared. 2 p.m. Eastern time, Wednesday, FOMC rate decision. You don't want to miss that one. Make sure you subscribe. Hopefully we earned your thumbs up. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.